It's gonna be carnage. Greetings, Fright Nights, Monster Girls. I'm Count Jackula.
And I'm the horror guru.
We just saw Venom.
Unfortunately, we did. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending upon your perspective. Okay, all right. Let me give a little bit of like my little pre-backstory with this movie. I first hear they're making a Venom solo movie without Spider-Man, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, why are we doing this? That sounds retarded.
I'm already not a big Venom fan in general, but
I hate Venom.
It feels pointless to put Venom in a movie without Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then I see the trailer, and I'm like, oh man, Tom Hardy actually looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And Venom looks like Venom. Okay, if he's going to be running around doing like a pseudo The Darkness thing, like the video game, and he's just going to be eating people's heads, and like he's going to be taunting Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy's going to be having funny quips back and forth, I can watch that movie.
Yeah, I can watch that movie. Like, I can watch a fucking Venom movie a la like fucking, Shaun of the Dead horror comedy kind of thing. Like, I thought, I was like, I could actually get into that. I could get into that hardcore.
Like Deadpool, but less like a meta.
Yeah. But we've still got like the blood flying.
Yeah. But then I found out that it's going to be PG-13, and I'm just like, oh, no. For the movie you pitched me in that trailer, this should be a fucking hard R.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Venom should just be eviscerating bad guys and, like, chomping their heads off. And, like, Eddie should just be like, oh, my God, what did you just do? And Venom's just like, yummy. Like,
yeah. Now, here's the thing. That all happens.
But without the bloodshed, it doesn't work as well.
No, it doesn't.
That all being said, I will say this. My favorite parts of this movie are Tom Hardy. He is fantastic as Eddie Brock. I mean, it's a very different Eddie Brock.
Oh, yeah, super
any
different.
incarnation I've ever seen. He's like this weird, like, really, like, anxiety-ridden Alex Jones type.
Yeah, he's like an anxiety-ridden Alex Jones who's actually like a really nice guy.
Yeah,
he's like a super nice guy.
Like if Alex Jones wasn't full of shit and actually went after real shit, that's basically what he is in this movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
But like it's a very different version of Eddie Brock. As opposed to like the jock who's a hardened journalist.
Yeah.
He's much more lighthearted in this movie, and I actually kind of enjoyed his performance a lot.
Yeah.
Like if he feels like he's from a completely different movie, because everyone else is like super serial. It's kind of like watching a Jim Carrey movie. Like The Mask, where Jim Carrey's goofy as shit, but everyone else is super serious.
Yeah, but like where The Mask made that work.
Yeah.
This movie didn't.
And it should have. It should have, because I'm watching it and going like, every time Venom's on screen, this is enjoyable as fuck.
Yeah. Every time it's Tom Hardy, every time it's Eddie Brock and Venom, who is also played by Tom Hardy.
Also Tom Hardy. So once again, Tom Hardy's my favorite part.
Yeah. Every time it's just Tom Hardy, it's amazing.
And the characterization of Venom in this movie is really fun. It's like, pile of heads, pile of bodies.
Yeah. He was like, all right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take off all their heads. We're going to make a pile of heads. He's like, why are we making a pile of heads? And Venom's just like, pile of heads.
Pile of bodies.
Pile of bodies. I don't get it.
Perfect. I love this. It's also a slightly different Venom. Venom's usually a lot more like evil.
Yeah.
in the comics, until he became more of an anti-hero. But like in this movie, he's played a little bit more whimsically.
Yeah.
Still like
he's
evil.
Still a monster.
He's still a monster, but there's a lot, like I said, it's more like the darkness from the video game. Not the comics. The comics darkness is more like the comics Venom.
Yeah.
But like the video game version of the darkness.
Yeah. Where like, it's constantly talking to him. It's commenting on Eddie Brock's choices in life,
Like a part where he tells him to jump out the window and then he cuts to him pressing the elevator and Venom's just like, pussy. Those scenes are fantastic and are done really well. And a lot of the action scenes are actually pretty exciting and fun. But, oh my God,
it's story.
It's a mess. It's a freaking mess. Like, I read something before going into this movie that there was like 40 or 35 minutes of the movie cut out before release.
Oh God, you feel it.
You totally do. And on top of that, it feels like there are scenes arranged in a really awkward order.
Yeah. Like, okay, look, people. I don't know how to say this. Fuck spoilers.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
At this point, we're going to be spoiling this movie, so if you want to stop here, you should stop here. Short capsule. I recommend this movie as a fun bad movie, but I will never say this is a good movie.
No.
This is kind of like the theatrical cut of Daredevil, where there's enjoyable parts of the movie, but the movie overall feels incomplete.
Well, how to put it? Everything that's bad about the movie is way worse than Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
But everything that's works about the movie is way better.
That's true.
That's Affleck's true. Daredevil.
That's true.
You know, the Affleck one, not the Netflix. If you're like, but Netflix, no. Netflix is perfect.
I'm talking about the Affleck one. The Netflix one is just, mwah.
Yeah, fucking perfect. Can't wait for season 3. But, all right. So, when we talk about the storytelling is sloppy, and you can tell this was cut down to a PG-13. There was a lot obviously changed in the editing room, and it's not usually this fucking obvious, but in this case, it's fucking seizure-inducingly obvious, because the last scene of the movie is very obviously taken from the middle of the movie.
Well, yeah.
Because Eddie Brock goes from day to night by walking through a door.
Yeah, it's daylight outside, and then he walks through a door, and all of a sudden it's night, and you're like, what the fuck?
What?
And on top of that, the scene that takes place there, you're like, okay, this entire, like, good guy versus bad guy exchange between Eddie and Venom, that should have happened at the midpoint of the movie.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the movie, Venom just all of a sudden decides to be a good guy for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Now, I think what it's trying to do is it's trying to be like, oh, Venom cares for the girlfriend because Eddie cares for the girlfriend, so now he's a good guy. But they did a really terrible job
They did
of
not
doing
tell
that.
you that story.
They did not execute that well at all, because I didn't feel that for 1 second.
No, we're just guessing that was the idea. You know, because there's no fucking reason for Venom to save the Earth.
Because the only scene that really gave any indication that he was going to turn a leaf at all is the conversation Eddie was having with his girlfriend. But like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's like it.
Yeah.
You know, whereas if they had all these exchanges, these fights, like about who's a good guy versus a bad guy earlier in the movie, and had those exchanges, we could have set up him slowly turning and learning, you know?
Yeah. Like, how to put it? They very much characterize Venom, the symbiote, as the head-eating fucking 900-pound gorilla that he is.
Yes.
You know, but what seemed like maybe they were trying to do is that he is also just pure id.
Yeah.
He just wants shit.
Yeah, he just wants shit.
Yeah, and this could be very good for a guy who's like the Eddie in the movie.
Yeah.
This could be extremely beneficial to have that actually voiced, because he kind of, in the beginning, despite the fact that Eddie's a very nice guy in this movie, he's very selfish.
Yeah, he's very selfish. And he's also like, he's got all this anxiety.
Yeah. But he doesn't really like think things through, because he's really unclear as to what's important.
Yeah.
Whereas Venom is very clear on what's important.
Which would have made, like, if they actually did that, if they pushed that harder at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then had it when he has Venom, he's now trying to teach Venom the things that he has trouble struggling with.
Yeah.
And then you could have, like, had an actual arc there.
Yeah.
But they did a really bad
because
job.
you put the middle of the movie at the end of the movie, that utterly doesn't happen, and Venom is just like, oh, I'm just gonna save the world now for some reason.
He's like,
what?
What made you make that decision? You did, Eddie. And I'm like, how?
Yeah. When did this occur?
Why? It's just all of a sudden it forced itself into being a superhero movie when up until that point it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it just turns into a superhero movie finally in the last act.
And the other thing is the motivation of Venom is confusing as fuck in this movie. Okay, so he wants to get a spaceship so he can get away because he's being chased by another symbiote who is apparently accusing him of being a traitor. And I'm like, what's the story there? I feel like there's something that we weren't told.
Yeah, it's like, so there are two symbiotes in the story.
Yeah.
One is Venom, the other is Riot.
Yeah.
And, eventually,
we'll get to that.
Anyway.
We teased it at the beginning. Yeah. We'll get to that.
Anyway, so Riot's like, all right, bros, we found a new planet to fucking conquer. Let's bring the homies here and we'll just fucking take over the earth. That's what we're going to do. And that's fine.
The movie doesn't tell you enough.
No.
So, like, here's the thing. I would prefer if you showed me, but if you weren't going to show me, at least tell me.
Yeah.
Because the impression,
one of the two.
The impression I got from the movie was that it was like a Lilo and Stitch situation. Where Riot is basically like the hunters who've come down to chase him down. And he is the escaped convict or traitor or whatever.
Something like that.
But they never actually go into whatever their conflict is. So I'm like, we have this climactic battle between Riot and Venom, which is more Riot and Venom than it is Eddie and the other guy.
Yeah.
Even though they are fighting.
Yeah.
But I have no idea why these two hate each other. I have no idea why they're fighting.
There's no reason for them to hate each other. It's because they never tell you.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know why Riot and Venom don't like each other. And it's like, could you have established something?
And here's the thing. When he called him a traitor, I was like, is he a traitor because he's fighting you now? Or was he a traitor in the beginning and that's why you're chasing him? Because it seemed like in the beginning, like Venom was going to help you invade this planet. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm really confused. I feel like there's stuff on the cutting room floor that you didn't show me.
Which, you know, bear in mind, like, there's this sudden face turn that Venom does on a fucking dime, and you're just like...
It's the worst part of the movie, because you're just like, what?
God. Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's like, all of a sudden, like, oh, now I'm a good guy now. I'm like, wait, hold on. When did this happen? When did this all of a sudden, like, this heart come from? Like,
yeah. Oh, one of the things I did kind of like, but I'm like, why do I get the feeling that this is part of the movie that was that's on the fucking floor? Mm-hmm. Was when Venom bonds with Eddie Brock's like girlfriend.
Oh yeah, that was good. I would have liked more of it though.
Yeah.
Like I would have liked to seen them have a conversation or something, you know, just like anything.
Yeah.
And like maybe have the conversation also tie into why he ends up turning at the end. Like you could have.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't do that. No. And that makes it a fucking sloppy ass goddamn movie. You get this
really hilariously awkward scene, which I kind of love, but I'm also just kind of like, I feel like you could have done this better. Where Eddie, I know he's supposed to be kissing his girlfriend, but for a good, like, 5 seconds there, he's kissing Venom.
Yeah, he's actually, making out with Venom. Yeah, and I find myself going, okay, all right, we're doing this.
I was like, did you intentionally intend for that, or did you not realize that that's what that would look like?
It's so hard to tell. It's so hard to tell whether they meant that or not. A lot of people apparently are really annoyed at that, but I was like, no, I'm not annoyed. I just want to know whether you meant it.
Here's the thing. Everything, all these little scenes in the movie like that, I'm okay with if you develop it better. You know?
Yeah.
Like I was fine with her being in the Venom, with the Venom symbiote. Fuck, now I'm doing the thing where I'm consciously pronouncing it in weird ways.
Symbiote.
That's another moment that told me that this movie was obviously changed in the editing room, because the trailer clearly had them saying symbiote.
Yeah.
And in the movie, they all say symbiote. And I'm like, okay, that's the way I usually pronounce it, symbiote.
Yeah.
But that was not the way it was in the trailer. So did you go back and like dub everyone over to so they said that?
Yeah, I know, right?
Or did you cut out every scene in which they pronounced it the other way? Is that how you can tell, like, original footage and reshoot footage? I have no fucking clue.
I have no fucking clue. But man, I gotta tell you, like, this is how the fact that this was obviously supposed to be part of the Amazing Spider-Man universe could not be more clear.
Oh yeah, this felt like it clearly felt
has
like
all of the problems of those movies too.
It felt like they took whatever script they were writing when they were doing Amazing Spider-Man 2 and they were setting up the Sinister Six and a Venom solo movie. It took like they took whatever script they were writing then and just shot it.
Yeah.
Even though Amazing Spider-Man's over right now, they're continuing the universe with Venom.
There's no Amazing Spider-Man. Fuck that. Doesn't exist.
But it felt like that. It felt like that 100%. Even like the look of like the science labs in this movie looked like the science labs in that other movie. And I'm like, I know it's a different lab, but it looks like the same technology, the same universe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but why?
And it looks like, and it's edited, it's got the same editing problems.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there are a lot of jump cuts in this movie.
It also has
don't fucking, what?
I don't say this very often because I'm the kind of person who likes when my movies play with their tone and aren't just atonal the entire time.
Yeah.
Like there are good movies that are atonal. They're really good movies. But I like it when a movie can balance the tone of like, hey, we're gonna be funny now and now we're gonna transition to something a little serious. It's why I'm way more forgiving of a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 than some people are, because I really love its tone.
Yeah.
But this movie felt like it was tonally all over the place and didn't know what its tone was supposed to be.
Yeah, because it looked like it was one movie trying to be shoehorned and mangled into another.
Like in certain scenes, I'm like, okay, this feels like it's trying to be like a serious horror superhero movie. But then all of a sudden it becomes like a Mask-style goofy slapstick comedy. And the movies don't gel well together. And like if there was a better filmmaker, they might have been able to gel those over.
Oh, yeah. Because I mean, like, we could have Evil Deaded it. You know, and that would have been fine.
Yeah, that's the funny part. As much as like Sam Raimi's Venom the Venom in this movie is better than Sam Raimi's Venom.
Oh yeah.
I felt like Sam Raimi would have directed this movie way better.
Oh God, yeah.
Like he could have balanced those tones way better than they did.
Yeah. And at this point, I'm willing to just fucking. It should be very obvious. It should go without saying. At this point, with these movies, it's Sony's fault. Mm-hmm. It's totally Sony's fault because they all have the same problem.
Here's the weird thing about this
movie.
All
three of them have the same fucking problems.
Weird thing about this movie is that it did convince me that a Venom movie could work.
Yes.
So bravo to that. It convinced me that you could do it.
Yeah.
But it did also show me that they didn't do it.
Yes. Yeah. Like it's weird to say Tom Hardy's the only thing this movie has going for.
Yeah. I hope that he's not like so heartbroken by this that he doesn't like give another one a shot. Because I would love for them to make a Venom 2 and just make a much better movie.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, there's a teaser.
It's not looking good.
There's a teaser at the end of this movie after the credits that is hands down the worst scene in the movie. And here's the worst part. It starts off as like, oh man, this is great. But then it goes to shit and it just paints the entire experience as negative.
Oh, yeah.
So, you probably guessed it. We said at the beginning.
It's gonna be carnage.
It's gonna be carnage. Okay, so we cut to basically, I think it was like San Quentin.
Yeah.
Because it's San Francisco. So they cut to like San Quentin, and Eddie Brock has been called in by some sort of psychopath in like a Silence of the Lambs style interview.
Yeah.
Thing. And so he comes in, and obviously it's fucking carnage. And he goes in, and the guy's like, I'm gonna like cut all I'm not going to do the Silence of the Lambs thing. Let's just cut to the chase or whatever. I'm going to break out of here. When I break out of here, it's going to be carnage. And here's the worst part. When he walks into the room and you realize, oh shit, Carnage is going to be played
by Woody Harrelson.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
You get the natural born killer to play a fucking Carnage? That's amazing. But then he says that line and you're like, nope, cast someone else. That he can't deliver that line.
Yeah.
No, but then I realized, no, it's not the casting that's the problem. It's the line.
The line is terrible.
And now I'm sitting there going like,
you could have done that stupid thing where it's just sort of like, you know what they used to call me, sir?
Yeah.
They used to call me Carnage. And it'd be like, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's a similar problem that every time
Remember when they teased the gentleman at the end of the first Amazing Spider-Man?
I know, yeah.
And that didn't fucking work?
The gentleman and then Sinister Six, like their teases are terrible.
Yeah.
Not Marvel's teases. Like,
specifically the Amazing Spider-Man.
The Sony teases are awful. And like I'm sitting there going like, why didn't you just like the tease I had in my head would have been the obvious one.
Yeah.
But it would have made more sense if you had like, okay, like here's Carnage. He's on fucking death row and they're going to execute him because he's killed like a bunch of people. Yada, yada, yada. Obviously you couldn't set the actual execution or whatever in San Francisco. You would have to move it someplace else.
Right.
We don't have
or you could say like there's
or maybe they throw him into solitary confinement or some shit.
Ooh, like, yeah.
Like he's thrown into solitary confinement because he just fucking bit a guy's face off or something. Like whatever.
Yeah.
And then like you see like the symbiote like crawling through the woods and then go inside the cell and then like he's like being transformed. Credits. Like that would have been enough of a tease.
Yeah.
But the tease they did left me confused as fuck. Because I was just like, okay, if he's already taken over by the symbiote, does the symbiote already know that Eddie has Venom in him?
Yeah.
Because why does he call Eddie specifically? Like, it's...
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Because, well, it's...
And why does he do it just to, like, taunt him and tell him, like, there's gonna be carnage? It's just like...
Yeah. Well, because they set up the fact that there are 3, possibly 4 symbiotes.
Yeah.
They set that up.
They establish even more than that. They say there's like millions up in space.
Well, up in space, but
they could have as many as they want land on like a fucking asteroid.
Right. But like, there are 4 different symbiotes in the movie proper.
Yeah.
There's Venom, there's fucking, oh God, what's his name? Rage. Riot, thank you.
Yeah.
Riot. Obviously, one of the others is Carnage, and another one is one that actually, that may or may not have died.
Yeah.
And
they indicated that one died while they were doing testing.
Yeah.
There was some indication of that.
Yeah. So we've set up 4 of them. And so
the other problem with that is I'm like, if you were going to do Carnage in the second movie, I kind of wish you didn't do a symbiote in this one.
I know, right?
Like, I kind of wish you either did Carnage here and did a different villain in the next movie.
Yeah.
Because like, your hero is already a fucking symbiote. And they're going to have the villains all be them too. Like, it just seems like...
Yeah, it just seems like it's too small of a universe.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have Spider-Man at the center of it.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, like, I don't know who you would do. But, like, I feel like I would have preferred if it was Carnage in this movie. Like, and I would have preferred if they had a completely different setup for the next one.
Yeah. Like if they maybe if they had hulked it a little bit and they had just like kind of made up someone who was something. I don't even know, man.
Here's the other thing: you could have even like worked in like the other thing is that like that tease at the end is just so poorly set up. Even if you were going to do it the way you were going to do it, like why didn't you have like some sort of setup that like, oh, he did this expose on these like serial killings or whatever, and yada yada. Like you could have even worked in the Sin Eater with that.
I know, right?
Like, you could have made Carnage the Sin Eater. You could have, like
you could have done a lot of things. You could have done a better tease with just Tom Hardy picking up the phone. It's like, we need you to talk to somebody. Who? Like, oh God, what's Venom's actual name? Cassius.
This is like Cassidy Clay or
Cassidy Clay.
Cassius,
Yeah. We need you to talk to Cassidy.
I'm not his biggest Carnage fan. So.
Yeah. But like, have him be like that. He's like, why do you want me to interview him? It's like, we don't know, but he asked for you.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, okay, we're gonna do Carnage.
That would have been a tease. That would have been something, like. But it was so bad. And the worst part is I'm looking at Woody Harrelson and I'm like, that's great. Until he says we're just gonna be Carnage, and I'm just like, oh God, you're right, but for all the wrong reasons. It's gonna be cinematic Carnage on cinema itself.
Oh my God!
I think Sony needs to.
Stop! You need to stop! Just stop! What else are we supposed to... What else can we say? Fucking stop! Like, oh my God. What?
Or they could do that. That works.
Yeah, fuck it. Tell them where they can find you. God.
You can find me at The Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, and on YouTube under Bloodsplattered Cinema. Search for me.
I went in hating this movie, and I'm still having an aneurysm. Sorry. Again, I'm sorry, dude. That's what this movie did to me.
You can find me at The Horror Guru on Twitch and Twitter and on YouTube. Search for me. You'll find me. Where can I find you?
You can find me on this channel. You can find me on social media. You can find me on Twitter, count_Jackula. You can find me on Instagram, Satanic Jackula. And you can find me on Twitch, Count Jackula. And we stream every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Fucking 9 p.m. on Sunday, Pacific Standard Time. And I think I probably have recovered.
Probably by then.
Gonna have some medicine, maybe some more booze.
But if you ask him about it, I'm sure he'll have another aneurysm. So go do that. Dude, motherfucker. I just made your stream more interesting.